I didn't tell you the full story last time. Last time we broke down and know the second song BTS ever released. Seven young men, ranging from 15 to 20 years old. JK, the youngest at 15. Jin and Suga, the oldest at 20. Saying no to an entire system directly out loud on television. But the rebellion didn't start with an O. It started the day they debuted, June 12th, 2013. The album drops. June 13th, their very first performance on the M Countdown, and the first thing BTS ever said to the world. Not an introduction, not a promise, not a love song, was a question. Hey, what's your dream? And then immediately, is that all it is? Today, we're going to go line by line through No More Dream. And by the end of this, you'll understand something most people who follow BTS for years have never fully put together. The courage didn't build up over time, it was there on day one. Let's get into it. Before we touch a single lyric, you need to understand who BTS was when this song dropped, because the context makes everything louder. Big Hit Entertainment in 2013 was nobody. The K pop industry at the time was completely controlled by three companies: SM, JYP, and YG. If you weren't signed to one of these three labels, you were invisible. Big Hit was a small company with limited resources, no major backing, and zero industry leverage. And into that landscape, they sent seven young men with a hip hop debut record criticizing Korean society. That album sold 760 copies in its release week. 760. The members have talked about this. They weren't sure they were going to survive as a group. There was no safety net, no guaranteed second chance. This was it. Now, here's what makes that even more significant. The members weren't just performers handed a concept. The rap line, RM, Sugar, J Hope, and the Supreme Boy rewrote and refined the lyrics of No More Dream extensively during production. This wasn't a song they were told to sing. This was a song they fought to get right. Every revision was a choice to keep the message exactly as sharp as it was. And Bang, Big Hit CEO, the one who's built this whole thing, had a specific vision from the beginning. He wanted a hip hop group, real hip hop, not the polished, sanitized version that mainstream K pop would accept. Real songs about real things. That vision, plus the members' own underground roots, is what made No More Dream possible. Because these were not polished trainees following a company playbook. RM was already dropping mixtapes and had collaborated with Zico before the group even debuted. Sugar was producing beats in secret in Daegu for a family that didn't initially support his music. J Hope came from street dance battles in the underground scene in Gwangju. These weren't people performing rebellion. These were people who already had been living it. Jimin had entered Busan High School of the Arts as the top student in modern dance. V auditioned in Daegu and was kept secret from the public until debut day. Nobody outside the company knew he existed until he stepped on stage. And JK was cast by multiple agencies after a TV audition. He chose Big Hit specifically because he saw RM rap and couldn't look away. When they wrote about a system that crushed dreams, every one of them was writing from experience. The debut album was called Too Cool for School. The title itself is a statement, a deliberate misspelling, a deliberate rejection of the proper way. Too cool for school, said with full knowledge that the school system was watching. The album Too Cool for School is the first installment in what fans and critics now call BTS's School Trilogy, a three-part series across three releases that dissects South Korean youth culture from every angle. Part 1, Too Cool for School. What are you doing to us? Part 2, O, exclamation point, RUL8, comma 2, question mark. Are you already too late? Part 3, school love affair. And now you want us to love this? That's a conceptual arc planned across an entire year of releases from a group that sold 760 copies on debut week. That is not ambition. That's conviction. No More Dream was written by RM, Suga, J Hope, Supreme Boy, P Dog, and Bang. The fact that members wrote their own debut single in a genre, hip hop, that was still largely looked down on in mainstream K pop at the time was a statement. They weren't borrowing the sound, they were claiming it. 3 times, the same question. And then immediately, is that all? This is not a warm welcome. This is not an introduction. RM is saying, hello, we're BTS. Thank you for listening. He's walking straight up to whoever is listening and asking them to account for themselves. The tone is confrontational, but it's not hostile. It's the tone of someone who genuinely wants to know and is frustrated that nobody ever asks. In Korean, Yama, it's casual, almost rough. The way you'd address a close friend or peer when you want their attention immediately. It's not rude, but it's not polite either. It's direct. It cuts through the formality. It says, I'm not performing for you, I'm talking to you. And the follow up, is that all your dream is? Lands like a hand on the shoulder, not a judgment. Challenge. There's a difference. Sugar opens up his verse, not with anger, with exhaustion. Sick of the same day, the repeating days. He's not describing a system from the outside. He's describing what it feels like to live inside it, day after day, when the walls never change. Then comes the line that deserves its own moment. Grown ups and parents keep instilled confined dreams. The word in Korean, jubae, means to inject, to instill, to feed something directly into a person, like a pill, like a drip. It's not teaching, it's injection. And what are they injecting? Government worker. Number one career aspiration. Stable, safe, approved. The opposite of everything standing in that room. Sugar grew up in Daegu, in a family that didn't initially support his music. He produced beats in secret. He fought for this. When he sings Confined Dreams, he means the ones that he almost accepted instead of the one that brought him here. Now, here's a detail that most people breeze right past, and it's one of the most brilliant structural choices in the entire song. Sugar's verse ends mid sentence, literally mid phrase, and J Hope catches it. It's not a forced dream, a knife ending relief. And then J Hope comes in. Picture, throw a fastball at the waste of time that is a night study session. Rebel against the hellish society. Stop right there. The baseball metaphor, a knife ending relief pitcher, is doing 2 things. One, it's a sport reference to clutch performance when everything is on the line. But two, and more importantly, J Hope catching Sugar's unfinished sentence is a demonstration of exactly what the song is arguing for. They're finishing each other's thoughts. They're one unit. The system tries to isolate. Number one or nobody. They answer with connection. And then J Hope drops the line that caused controversy when the song dropped. Rebel against hellish society. That word, Geok, means hell, literal hell, and is direct reference to something that's called hell Jason, a phrase used by Korean youth to describe their own country, a society where no matter how hard you work, the system is rigged against you, where the gap between rich and poor is locked in place, where even getting into a sky university doesn't guarantee a life worth living. J-Hope used that word on his debut record on national television. That is not an accident, and that is not a small thing. This is the emotional pivot of the song. Everything before here was diagnosis. Here is what the system does. Here is what it costs. Here is where the word hell is written out loud. This is the turn toward the individual. V's question is personal in a way that rap verses aren't. He's not talking about the system anymore. He's talking directly to you. What did you dream of becoming? Look in the mirror. Is that person there? Or did someone else show up? Then J Hope answers the question that question leaves hanging. Even if you live for a day, go on your path. That line contains an entire philosophy. It's not saying you'll definitely succeed, it's not promising anything. It's saying that one day lived honestly, one day on your actual path, is worth more than a lifetime spent on someone else's. This is where the song stops being social commentary and becomes personal counsel. The chorus is not gentle. It doesn't say, please reconsider the system. It calls the system a liar directly. It calls the adult who enforces it hypocrites. But here's the specific bite: you do it yourself first. It's the sound of someone who has finally had enough of being redirected by people who've never lived in their own dreams. You're telling me mine is wrong? Then show me yours. It's not just pushback, it's exposure. The adults giving out confined dreams are often people who gave up on their own. That's the accusation underneath the phrase, and BTS puts it right into the chorus where everyone has to hear it. The vocal line with Jin, Jimin, V, and JK carrying this chorus is everything because the rap line made the intellectual argument, but the vocal line makes it feel. The chorus hits differently because the voices don't sound angry, they sound exhausted and certain. The anger already burned off. What's left is just truth. Let's talk about the visual because it's doing something specific that goes deeper than the surface rebellion concept. The music video opens with BTS in a yellow school bus, not inside a school. In the school bus, they have clearly taken over. There's graffiti all over it, there's no driver. They're using a vehicle that was supposed to transport them to the system, and they've turned it into their own space. The bus interior is covered in hip hop references. And the one specific message that deserves its own moment: the artist is nothing without his gift, but the gift is nothing without work. That quote on the wall of a school bus they hijacked is the entire thesis of their career in one sentence. It's not enough to have the gift, it's not enough to reject the system. You still have to work. Outside the bus, the environment is abandoned. An empty school, a half pipe, open urban space. No authority figures, no uniforms, no pills. This is the world after the system has lost its hold. And it looks like freedom: skateboarding, breakdancing, bonfires. But it also looks unfinished because freedom without direction is just another kind of loss. That tension is the point. The song isn't saying the answer is easy, it's saying the question is necessary. Now, here's the details that nobody is talking about. An army who knows this will immediately go look it up. Hidden in the graffiti in the No More Dreams music video are future song titles, words written on the walls that hadn't been released yet. Words like run, words like stigma. They were planting their own future inside their debut. The whole universe was already there in the graffiti if you knew where to look. We've talked in an NO video about JK. At 15, the youngest, he was the first one who the system's pill didn't really work on. It failed. He was the spark. In No More Dream, watch him in the music video, in the choreography. He's not the center of the song lyrically. He has a specific moment, but the rap lines carry the argument. What JK carries is presence. the wordless version of the message. He was 15 years old. He had been cast by multiple agencies. He chose one, a small company nobody believed in, because he saw RM rap and something clicked. That choice, made at 15, is the embodiment of what the entire song is arguing. He lived it before he performed. When the song asks, "What is the you that you dreamed of?" JK standing in the music video is the answer to his own question. He chose the hard path, and here he is. Here's what this song proved. The first thing BTS ever said to the world was a question, not a promise, not a flex, not a love declaration. A question directed straight at the person listening. What is your dream? Is that all it is? The question was not performed. It was written over 20 times until it was right. It was delivered by people who had given up safer paths to be in that room. It was put on record by a company with nothing to lose and everything to prove. And it sold 760 copies. Now, connected to everything that came after, Inno came 3 months later and pushed the question from personal to political. The HYYH series asked, "What happened to those dreams when you are actually living them?" Wings asked, "What happens when the darkness shows up inside you?" Black Swan asked, "What happens when you've made it and you still feel nothing?" All of it traces back to this moment: a school bus, a graffiti wall, 7 young men with a question they refuse to stop asking. Here's the through line that runs through the whole series, and I want you to hold on to this. No More Dream asked, "Do you have a dream?" N.O. asked, "Who took it from you?" Black Swan asked, "What if you become so good at a dream that you lose the feeling along the way?" From asking if you have a dream, to fighting who took it, to asking if you lost it inside yourself. Same question, 7 years apart, getting deeper every time. That's BTS. Now, here's what I want from you. Drop in the comments, what hit hardest in this video? V's mirror question, J Hope's hellish society line, or Suga's confined dreams? And I want you to tell me, what's your dream? Because that's what this song is actually asking. It's been asking you this since 2013. Tag a friend who needs to hear this question again. Like, comment, subscribe, and go ahead and hit that hype button so that a few more people can check this out as well. We are the Rotten Rose family. Not a comment goes unnoticed. Thank you for watching. It's your boy RottenRoseQ, and I'm out of here, y'all.